Coming up behind the tape to download the Bet Victor app winner's bumper, 2 miles.
They're off.
Flags, they're off. And the closing Bet Victor winner's bumper, 2 miles. 5 previous winners taking each other on here. And there's Wingmen, red cap leading Fleur In The Park, William Munny, Scummelborn on the outside of Big Dispute. Continuing to make their way on up the straight the first time. Wingmen had a swan in the lead from Fleur In The Park, Adam Ryan. A couple of lengths in front. In third place, William Munny and Finny Maguire together in rear. Big Dispute, Patrick Mullins, and Scummelborn, David Kiley. Continuing on up the straight, and Wingmen, far from tractable, leads Fleur In The Park, William Munny, Big Dispute, and Scummelborn. Continuing on rising ground to the winning post, the circuit to race, and it's Wingmen, leading by 3 parts of a length to a length over Fleur In The Park. In third is William Munny. Big Dispute moves on from the trailing 3 Scummelborn as they reach their final 1.5 miles. In the lead is Wingmen from Fleur In The Park, William Munny, Big Dispute, and Scummelborn. Heading along the side of the track, inside the final 11. Wingmen, Fleur In The Park, William Munny, Big Dispute, Scummelborn. They're starting to stack up, racing to the final 1.25 miles. Wingmen going along enthusiastically from Fleur In The Park, William Munny, Big Dispute, Scummelborn, all racing by themselves, continuing towards the halfway stage. And Wingmen asserts 2.5 in front, Fleur In The Park, and then William Munny, Big Dispute, and finally Scummelborn. Passing halfway, to download the Bet Victor app winner's bumper over 2 miles, it's Wingmen, as of yet to be headed, within a couple of lengths of Fleur In The Park as they turn with 7 furlongs to go. Then William Munny. Scummelborn swaps last with Big Dispute. On they come towards the final 6.5 furlongs. And it's Wingmen upholding a lead of 1.5 lengths to 2 lengths over Fleur In The Park. William Munny third. Scummelborn 2 to the good over the trailing Big Dispute. Just over 5.5 furlongs to go. And it's Wingmen, reeled in by the other 4 in behind. Fleur In The Park, William Munny taking closer order in the orange jacket, Scummelborn, and although Big Dispute, the back marker, very much up with the play as they round the home turn. 1/2 mile to go from here. Wingmen. Harry Swan just leading in. Fleur In The Park and Adam Ryan. Scummelborn, David Kiley round the outside of William Munny. And Finny Maguire and Big Dispute, Patrick Mullins. Straightening at the 3. And it is Wingmen from Fleur In The Park, almost on terms. And they're followed by Scummelborn, William Munny. Over to the far side is Big Dispute as they come towards the final 1/4 mile. And it is Wingmen. And alongside Fleur In The Park, William Munny, right in behind them and closing, then Big Dispute and Scummelborn. The chips are down now, racing down to the final furlong. Fleur In The Park with William Munny cantering up on the outside. Wingmen on the inner. These 3 are in a line. 200 yards to go. On the near side, it's William Munny from Wingmen and Fleur In The Park. And it's William Munny striding away in style for Finny Maguire, and Barry Connell cements further claims in bumpers coming up. Second is Fleur In The Park, Wingmen third.
Welcome back to Nace. We're just in the winner's enclosure watching again that brilliant performance from William Munny to make it 2 out of 2 in the bumper for Barry Connell, who's with us now. Barry, lest there was any doubt after Navan, you've got a very smart horse in your hands here, don't you?
Yeah, I couldn't believe the price he was today. I couldn't believe it. I analysed the race, looked at every other horse in the race, and I thought we should have been even money favourite on what he did at Navan. He beat a very smart horse of Willie's. And there were, 12, 14 lengths clear of the rest, and our horse improved since. Westerners don't normally make bumper horses, but he is the make and shape of a bumper horse. I won't bring him to Cheltenham. And I'm normally not a fan of running them in more than 2 bumpers, but I think he's entitled to go to Champion Bumper and Punchestown on the back of that. Probably that's where we'll go, I'd say.
Yeah, Finny rode him with a huge degree of confidence as well. Was he pretty sure he could have picked them up whenever he wanted?
Yeah, he said he thought it was like a bit of work. He jumped in halfway. Yeah.
So you'll be watching Cheltenham with interest as a neutral observer, but do you feel your horse is going to be waiting for whatever wins over there?
Well, I think if we brought him to Cheltenham, he'd probably win. But I just don't like bringing a young horse like that over to Cheltenham with all the buzz and everything. You know, I'd sooner keep it small this year and hopefully be a Grade 1 horse now over hurls next year.
Yeah, very exciting prospect. Just before we let you go, Barry, what's the latest on Marine National? You've been making all the right noises since the Dublin Racing Festival.
Yeah, we had him away, himself and Enniskerry runs in the Grand Annual, and we had the 2 of them away at Fairyhouse yesterday just for an away day. They jumped a 4 up the hill to Ballyhack and just hacked around. It was more for Enniskerry's viewpoint because he hasn't run since the Galway Plate. But we're really happy with both horses. So look, all we want is a bit of spring ground for them both. He got bogged down in the muck in Leopardstown, and 9 times out of 10 if you get a dry 4 or 5 days in Cheltenham, the ground will be perfect, you know.
Yeah, I mean, plenty of people have jumped to conclusions and suggested it might have been his wind that was catching him. He's been wearing a tongue strap lately. That's not in your mind at all?
Not at all, no. I mean, if you look at him even going back to Punchestown, Killarney, his head carriage is identical in every single race. He always looks like a horse that's looking for air. But that's not an issue. That's not an issue. I mean, he wore the tongue strap, and he had the same head carriage when he bolted up. He was 5 seconds quicker in his beginners than Dino Blue in the Grade 1. So, you know, it's not an issue.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing him over there and wish you well with the final few weeks of the prep, Barry, and with Enniskerry as well. And well done with this guy.
Great.
As I say, he looks a right horse.
Okay, thanks very much.
Watch live racing now on racingtv.com.